When I was 21, I bled to death nearly. I had a miscarriage. I was 5 months pregnant, and so I was actually in hospital. Early in the morning, two nurses came and asked me to follow them up these stairs to have a check. The doctor was going to come up and look at me. I felt myself fainting.
Sunday night came, which is when everything started. I'm now gasping for breath. I went downstairs. I walked towards the phone. Something said, "You have to ring for help." Got through to the operator and we started talking. I explained to her about the severe chest pains that I had ongoing, my breathlessness. She told me to open the front door, sit down and just wait for the ambulance. Two paramedics walked in, a man and a woman. And I remember her name. Her name was Rebecca. She was one of the paramedics. She said, Ray, you have to breathe. You have to start breathing. And I couldn't. I just couldn't breathe. I put my chin onto my right shoulder, and the next thing, I was somewhere else.
My experience goes a number of years back. I was roughly 35, and a few friends decided that we were going to visit the south of France in the middle of the summer. It was a lovely, sunny, hot day, and we're down by the side of the river. A few of us thought we'd just go into the river just to cool off a bit, and I can't swim. Immediately, I stepped one step forward, and the next thing, I was underwater. I'd gone right in the water, and it was a very powerful current, and I'm being swept downstream, and I sink initially, and I come right up for a gulp of air, get one gulp of air, and then go down again. And the second time, I wasn't going to make it. I'd taken in water.
Hello, my name's Ken Spearpoint. I'm Principal Lecturer at the University of Hertfordshire and was formerly Consultant Nurse in Resuscitation at Imperial College in West London. I've had some involvement in some groundbreaking research into what is known as the near-death experience of patients who have recovered from cardiac arrest. In that research, we conducted interviews with patients who had survived the cardiac arrest, and it's reasonable to say the vast majority of those patients who recovered didn't experience any so-called near-death experiences. However, there were a small number of patients who, when interviewed, were able to identify that they had these kind of experiences. What they recall to me mostly was that they had this other-worldly experience.
I've looked up from my feet, and off in the distance is two men and three women. And within a flash, I woke up in the back of the ambulance. And standing above me was Rebecca, the paramedic. She leant over me. In the back of the ambulance is a red LED clock. And I watched her come over me, and she tapped the clock. She went, "You died, Ray." She said, "We've had to resuscitate you."
I was on the ceiling looking down at my body, which was laying on this gurney. And the two nurses were there, and they were calling out to me, and then bang, I was outside. But I wasn't outside the hospital where I thought I was going to go. For some reason, I thought I was going to just be flying out the window, literally. But I was in this incredible golden light, you know, like, I guess if you could be inside the sun, that's what it would look like. In the distance, this beautiful, more beautiful than you can imagine, pure, like diamond light shone. And I just started flying towards it. And the feeling of that was so much more love than what was in the golden light. Just like really feeling it when I talk about it.
You realise that the moment of death is the most painless thing. It's the physicality that's the painful experience. The moment of death is the easiest thing, it's absolutely the most wonderful thing, because once you are physically dead, then you're in this amazing embrace of purity, of peace, of love.
Part of what we're trying to do is to understand the scientific basis of how this can happen. How is it that the human mind, when by all known measurable things, is able to visually see and record and store that memory into their brain and then recall it sometime later, when to all intents and purposes they were what we would describe medically as being clinically dead. So we know that the normal electrical response in the brain stops between 30 and 60 seconds after the heart has stopped. We also know that the oxygen levels stop. We're going to do this work over a very long period of time, and probably in my lifetime we won't get the answers.
I've come around with my nose up on the ceiling tiles, and I gasped for breath, and I felt myself fall backwards into my body. I now have the beautiful side and the spiritualism that have come with it, but it has left me with a lot of legacies of the shock and trauma of what has happened to me. I'm now diagnosed with PTSD, military grade trauma PTSD.
I literally fell back to earth. I felt myself falling and kind of wishing I wasn't going back, and then I woke up 2 days later. I was dead for 6 minutes, yeah. So, and it felt like forever, you know, it was my true home.
You just know you're safe in a way that you could never truly be safe in a physical body. You feel an all-pervading sense. I suppose you could probably sum it up as love, but peace would probably be a much more accurate description.
I don't dismiss the sceptical point of view, and I don't embrace it. The truth is probably that we just don't know. We don't know exactly at what point in the death process that patients, these people, this 10% of people have near-death experience, we don't know exactly at what point it happens. Being a pragmatic, scientific person, I would take the view that it's about how we interpret the information, how we interpret the data, and the lens that we view it through based on our own belief systems, our own knowledge, our own skills and our own experiences.